let's talk about why it's important to align your values with your finances. Who wants to start? Kathy, your turn.
Sure. I think it's so important to think through what your values are because it helps you make better decisions. And it's really the core of who we are and the decisions that we can make in life. Oftentimes, like somebody says, what are your values? And we don't take the time to be like, for me, like mine are like family, wellness, financial independence. So there can be exercises that you can take to really discover what your values are and what's important to you, and that will aid you in all financial planning work that you do.
Before we go on real quick, who does that? Do they figure that out on their own? Do they go online? Do they talk to a certified financial planner practitioner? Do they talk to their advisor?
I think all of the above. So there's some great exercises online where you can just search like values. Sometimes just being given the key words, like whether it's that relationships or wealth or health or however you relate to it, just seeing a list of values can start to think that's really important to me, and you can start to narrow down. We do that with clients. Like we actually have a one-page sheet of values that we'll go through.
Okay, cool. I can tell Stephanie wants to add to this.
I love this topic because values mean something different to every person. So one of the questions I like to ask, even my husband when we're sitting down and planning for the next year, is imagine it's 5 years from now. What have we experienced? And it's not usually a new car or some type of big expensive thing. It's time with family. And the cost of that is sometimes travel, airfare, those sort of things. But time with family doesn't cost any money. So that's the question that I really like to ask myself, ask clients, to really understand what's important.
Good.
Yeah. And to have some fun with this, it's very easy when we're talking about values to be able to list things such as the person that is the person I'm sharing my life with, or my kids, or religion, or health. And those things could be what your top 5 values are. But to also push a little bit to really think about some other things. For example, for me, challenge is one of my top 5 values. And that's something that I have to intentionally put in my life and often spend money on it, whether it's signing up for a race or taking a coaching program or whatever it is. But that's a really big part of how I spend my money, and it's a big part of what fulfills me.
That's good.
I like what Katherine said, because knowing your values, it's so easy to say yes and know what to say no to. And that's the why behind it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned about you're choosing something else. Why? Because as a family, if you're in the store, my kid wants this, you had alluded to that. And I love that story in our earlier segment.
And something too to consider with values is when we're thinking about how we choose to spend our money, the traditional budget, as people may have been taught at some point over the course of time, may not necessarily resonate with them. We're big believers in spending money on the things that you value, but also being extremely, extremely frugal with the things that don't really bring you a lot of joy. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you can have everything, but you can often have the things that really deeply connect with you.
If you would like more information about the topics and our guests featured in this series, please visit our website at PlanStrongerTV.com. Also, if you have a question you would like David to answer, please send it to questions@PlanStrongerTV.com.